What is up, guys? Delboy here. So Joseph Parker defeats Hughie Fury by a 12-round majority decision to retain his WBO heavyweight title. And I have to say right from the outset, I personally felt the right man won. You know, it was a messy fight. You know, the fight never got going. It never got any momentum. And it wasn't a pleasant watch at times, I have to say. It wasn't a terrible fight, you know. It kept my attention, but it just wasn't it wasn't like you're not going to watch it again, put it that way, you know. I mean, some of the rounds were hard to score maybe, but ultimately Hughie Fury wasn't doing anything. And he was basically fighting on the back foot, popping a jab. Firstly, the big issue I have with that is, go back and watch the fight. Firstly, particularly in the first half of the fight, a lot of those jabs were not landing. They were either being parried by Parker, or Hughie was just flat out jabbing Parker's guard. A lot of those jabs didn't land. It looks flashy, but it doesn't do anything. That's not activity that I want to score. I'm not going to score that. And also, a lot of Hughie's jabs, if you watch it back, were not delivered. They wasn't delivered correctly. Sometimes his jab, he would land, he would throw it like a flick, and the top of his glove would land. That's not a scoring punch. That's not how you throw a jab. And I believe, if memory serves, Hughie even got warned for that, to throw the jab properly. A lot of those jabs were not scoring punches, and a lot of them didn't land. You know, Hughie was on the back foot. He was throwing that lazy jab. He was actually landing some good right hands when he threw it. That was one of his biggest mistakes. The uppercut was there for him. He landed some nice uppercuts throughout the fight, but it wasn't enough. One snappy uppercut is not enough to offset Parker's work rate. And again, Parker was messy, but he was trying to force a fight. He was throwing shots on the inside, clubbing shots. Yes, they didn't look great, but they was landing. You know, Parker was always a guy who was landing the harder shots. To me, Parker never looked hurt, and Hughie, a few times, he never looked badly hurt or anything, but he looked like he felt a few punches. Joseph Parker never felt what Hughie had, you know. And ultimately, yes, Hughie was actually very elusive. Defensively, Hughie was very good, but he wasn't making Parker pay. And that's the whole point. It's hit and not get hit. You know, boxing, you've got to do both. I mean, this is what drives me crazy about certain scorecards recently. You know, I mean, yes, you can be displaying a good defence, but ultimately, if you're not doing anything after that, it doesn't mean anything. You know, a lot of people are going to give it to the guy who's trying to force the fight if you're not countering, and that's fair enough. You put yourself in that position. And to me, there just wasn't enough quality coming through from Hughie Fury. And when he did throw shots and when they landed, they were quality. The uppercut at times, like I said, was very good. You know, sometimes he'll turn Parker and land a right hand on the side of his head. Again, great skill. Hughie Fury's got more natural talent than Joseph Parker. No doubt about it. But the reality was, he didn't pace himself properly. He didn't select the correct shots, you know, at the right times for a lot of the time. And he just didn't let his hands go. There were times where he could have easily countered Parker, but he didn't. He just sort of backed off. Or, you know, made Parker reset without countering. And that's not going to do it for me, I'm sorry. Parker landed the harder shots, like I said, you know. He forced the fight. He was the one who, he never looked uncomfortable. Yes, he looked frustrated, but he never looked uncomfortable in there. And I felt Hughie at times looked a tad uncomfortable, you know. Was it a hard fight to score? I don't think it was. I'll be honest. I don't think it was a hard fight to score. I felt Parker won pretty clearly, to be honest. It was messy, yeah. It was ugly, yeah. But was it particularly hard to score? I don't think so, man. And I'm actually glad that the aggressive fighter got the decision for once, because this year I've seen a couple of decisions where the flashy boxer he's just been favoured just because he's a flashy boxer. Like James DeGale versus Badou Jack's a great example. James DeGale has that sort of flashy reputation, Olympic gold medalist, you know, naturally talented, all of that, and Badou Jack is kind of seen as a solid fighter, but straight up and down. You know, he hasn't got that sort of flashy reputation, and that went against him. I'm sorry. People are inherently biased to the flashy sort of technician or the flashy boxer. I'm sure of it, because no matter how many times I've seen that fight, that wasn't the draw. Badu Jack flat out won that fight. He won the fight. I mean, look at how many jabs DeGale landed, for Christ's sake. Look at how many of DeGale's shots were landing on the gloves of Badu Jack, and for whatever reason, nobody actually took that into account. Look at how many power shots Badu Jack landed on James DeGale. Look at how hurt James DeGale was. And you're telling me DeGale got a draw out of that fight? I'm sorry, he didn't get a draw. He got lucky, man. He got lucky based on his reputation. And that's all there is to it. And Golovkin versus Canelo again. Yes, Canelo had some great moments, but is one or two bursts in a round of quality work good enough to win a round when the other guy is constantly pressuring you? Is that enough to win a round? Is two bursts, one to start the round and one to end the round, enough? I don't think it is. You know, there's a whole round you've got to score. You don't just score the last 30 seconds or the first 30 seconds or 20-second intervals. You score the whole round. You don't score 20 seconds to when the flashy boxer or the more technical boxer looked good. That's not how scoring works. And I swear down, that's how a lot of people score fights. They'll go into the fight with a preconceived notion of a fighter they perceive as the flashier guy, and they will be biased towards that guy, whether that is subconsciously or whether that is deliberately, I'm not sure. But to me, a lot of people score based on reputation and not what they see in the ring. I really do believe that, because, listen, I mean, maybe Canelo Golovkin, worst case it's a draw, but come on, man, just be honest with yourself. Seriously, I mean, the rounds are 3 minutes, not 20 seconds. Come on. Badu Jack versus James DeGale, I'm sorry. Badu Jack won the fight. He won the fight. You don't score shots that land on the gloves. You don't score to a fighter who's landed, 3 jabs in the whole fight. You know? Badu Jack was getting up in that grill and beating him up. That's what happened in there. But for whatever reason, it was a draw, you know. Maybe, and again, DeGale's got that reputation as a flashy guy. You know, the dazzling hand speed and the angles and all that. But and again, that's like with Joseph Parker, Hughie Fury. Hughie Fury was moving around, but what was he doing? Yes, he was looking elusive and he was looking slick, but what was he doing? To me, he wasn't doing much. Tell me what you guys think. Peace.